Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious, and that life is treating you most deliciously, and that the weather's far better wherever you are in the world. Now then, yeah, it's a totally grey sky. Rather windy today, but bless anybody's hearts in other countries where they have had the most awful winds. I mean, this is like a drop in the ocean compared to what other countries have had, my delicious babies. And it's raining. If it's raining, it's raining. So that's the weather forecast, and it's rather chilly Billy today, my delicious little babies. Anyway, so that's the weather forecast. My little lovelies. Now then, 3, 2, 1, my juicy lights. Thank you, little lights. You're delicious and bright. Yes, they are, aren't they, my delicious little babies? Yeah, I've got 9 lights. Gone down to 9. It's completion, isn't it? That leads me to say, my delicious little babies. So before I proceed with what I'm going to be giving out today, my little beautifuls. Yeah. So what has landed on my front grass today? Okay, my delicious little babies, I'll tell you. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And what is this? These are called, what are they called? Park holidays. Park holidays, my delicious babies. These are all called park holidays. So there's 9 of these. Does that mean I'm going on 9 holidays? Okay, my delicious babies anyway. So I look at that, as a positive thing. So when I'm not being thrown Tampax tampons unused outside my front door, I'm then being sent on my front grass, which doesn't happen to land on anybody else's grass, by the way, my delicious babies can. 9 park, what are they called again? Keep bloody forgetting. Park holidays, my delicious babies. Well, yeah, that's a nice thought, isn't it, my delicious little babies? For one to go on holiday. Yeah, I wouldn't mind sunning myself. I could do with some sun rays, my delicious little babies, because right now I'm looking like a bottle of flipping pasteurised milk, but I've got me, in all fairness, I've got my washing machine that's packed up. My dear dad bought me that washing machine, bless. Anyway, not to worry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till the sale in January. I'll probably, I will. I'll be able to pick one up for 150. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Because by the time, and I've got a beautiful dear neighbour and a beautiful dear friend up the road. She's just so beautiful to me, honestly. She really, really is. I feel so very, truly blessed. And how I love her so, and the beautiful little babies, you know what I mean? They're just so beautiful. Anyway, and she's been very kind to help me. And so what I'm going to do, that's my plan of action. So I'll just ask her if I could just use the washing machine for a little bit longer. She's just so beautiful, such a beautiful dear lady. But of course, she knows herself, and she said, well, you would do it for myself, Carly, you know what I mean? So it's horses for courses, isn't it, Martin? Baby. So anyway, yeah, so my washing machine packed up. But I mean, she's only young. I mean, I only had her since 2018, my delicious baby. So what's gone on? See, what's happening is she's not spinning, and she's not really washing as such. Do you see what I'm saying? So, like, it sounds like she's working, then it fills up a bit, and then it just sort of stays where it is, my delicious little babies. Now, somebody told me about the filter at the bottom of the washing machine, because it's always important to listen to one's mad delicious babies, you know what I mean? Because you learn something new every day. Well, that's always been my philosophy, you know what I mean? There's always something that I know that somebody else does not know, but then again, it turns itself round, and there's always something that somebody else knows that I do not know. So I managed to get away with it. Is it about a month ago? Could even be a month ago. So I opened the filter, and there was a little bit of pink, which was off of one of the pair of my shorts that, I was wearing in the summer. Like one of these tie things. Anyway, so once I got that out, emptied all the water out, everything was hunky-dory, tickety-boo, and I thought, yes, we're back rocking and rolling, you know what I mean? And then and then it sort of went back. You know, I managed because with myself, Mads, babies, right? You probably think I'm a proper flipping header. You know what I mean? But I will give my Hoover a kiss. I will give my washer a kiss. I will give my dryer a kiss. You know what I mean? I blow a kiss to my cooker. You know what I mean? Because I thank him each and every day. You know what I mean, for helping me. But yeah, it seems she's needed a bit of a rest, you know what I mean? Because, as anybody knows on my videos, my baby's usually always my flipping washing, you know what I mean? Going, you spin me right round, baby, right round. You know what I mean? Okay? Yeah. So I do miss not being able to uh, use her at the moment. But it's all right. It's all right. You see, by the time I've tried to call a couple out to see if they can come and help me. Anyway, they're all too busy. So not to worry, okay? Because I know I would have got it done a lot, you know, ching cheapy, you know what I mean? Um, but by the time I mean, I do not even know now how much it costs to. I haven't inquired how much, you know, to get somebody out to come and look at it. So you've got the calling out fee, and then of course, if it's somebody who you know, then you can trust them. Do you know what I mean? There we are. You can trust them. You know what I mean? Because I'll say, okay, Carla, this is, you know, the crack here. This is what's going on. But we found this decades ago, and it was a flipping very expensive game, Martin Look Babies, because they'd call you out, then they'd say that there's one thing wrong, then they'd say there's something else, just so that they can make the ka-ching, ching, ching, you know what I mean? Just rob you, just robbing bees, man, do you know what I mean? So I thought, okay, I'm not going to receive any help. Not to worry, not to worry. So I thought, right, come January, I'll just get a brand new one. So in the meantime, I know oh gosh, lovely little family down the road, and they collect metal and everything. So I'll go and knock on their door probably later, and I'll ask them if they can come and take my washing machine out. I feel really bad, you know, because my dear dad bought it, mate. You know what I mean? But I just do not understand what's going on. But of course, sorry, excuse me. Um, it's all this digital, isn't it? See, years ago, you used to be able to use a washing machine, turn a dial, no problem. Or you had your twin tubs, or you had, you know, something like this now then. And like I said on another video, I have heard that those twin tubs now are costing some ka-ching, ching, ching serious change. Pound, shilling, pence, dollars and change, my delicious babies, because it seems that ones are wanting to have those back. It's amazing, isn't it? It's like followers of fashion. So what happens is, that's what life is like, isn't it, my delicious babies? Everything is followers of fashion. So what do I mean by this? You see, things that go out of fashion, so many years later, will soon come back in again. Do you see what I mean, my delicious babies? Yes. So anyway, that's the story of my beautiful little washing machine. Anyway, not to worry, my delicious babies. These things happen. You know, I've weathered worse seas. Believe you me, my delicious babies, you know what I mean? Never mind write one flipping book, I could write flipping 5 on my life. My delicious babies, you know what I mean? Okay. So this is like a little blip. Okay. So at the moment, my beautiful little washer's on pause, okay? But my dryer's still working, so that's something, my delicious babies. But there is something I want to talk about here, my delicious babies, while that's just on my noddle. Now, I had 20 quid in my electric, you know, my old lecky, you know what I mean, my delicious babies. And it only lasted me 6 days. 6 days. And I thought, okay, I thought I could understand. That doesn't mean no, I just got bloody itch there. I thought, well, I could understand if I'm using a washer, if I'm using the dryer, if I've got. Do you understand what I mean? I could understand all of this, but I'm not using a washing machine. I'm using the dryer, admittedly, you know, because I'm taking 2 bags of washing up to a beautiful dear little friend and neighbour, bless her. And I forever bless her and wish her all of the best, you know, that life can bring her, because she's such a beautiful dear little soul. And so it's a beautiful little babies, bless, you know, little daughter, little toddler, and you know, we call our sons and daughters because she's got you know, one of each. And but I'm not using the electric, all that electric. Do you see how they're robbing us, Martha? There we are. They are totally robbing us. So, like, what is it? Like every 6 days, and it's the same with the gas. Now, I've just always been this way, okay? If I do not need to put on gas, like a heating or something, in a room, I will only put a heating on a room if it is being used, okay? That is how, there we are, it should be. Not having lights on 24/7, and you know what I mean? I mean, I remember growing up when I was really, really little, mad little babies, no word of a lie. Okay, I swear down on this, right? And I've never said this before, but do you know something? There were times I can remember from when I was about, I don't know, I always get mixed up. From when I was about 4 or 5, I can probably remember from. And sometimes, my dear dad, bless him, he'd take the light bulb, right, out of one room, and so you could have light in another room, and then put the light bulb in another room, Martin, do you know what I mean? So I was brought up where, I'm going back all those years ago, even though I'm still young, Martin, babies, but I remember this, okay? So I spent a lot of time walking around in the dark, believe it or not. That is the truth, Martha. There we are. That is the truth, Martha, babies, you know what I mean? So if I needed to, get up to get a glass of water or something, then I would come downstairs, and then there was a chair in the there was a chair in the kitchen. Okay, I can see it now. Those flats are not there anymore because it used to be a flat, and they've gone decades ago. And I used to get on the stand on the chair so that I could switch, the tap on to get a glass of water, and that was the days when you used to have like what did the bloody hell call them? You know those sinks, babies, those square ones. You know the ones that cost a lot of ching ching ching. They cost a lot of flipping change now because I know somebody years ago who had a brand new kitchen done. Okay, Martelish look babies, and let me tell you, she did get some good deals because it's not what you know, it's who you know what I mean, Martelish look babies. But and she had one, and let me tell you, the serious change. Well, I remember when they were in a council flats, Martelish look babies. Do you understand what I mean? Okay, we had one, and I remember there we are all that time back. Do you know what I mean, Martelish look babies? So yeah. But I was only very little then, mad to the babies, you know what I mean? But I just used to walk around in dark and then just walk back up the stairs. It's like, how can I explain it? It's like automatic, if you know what I mean. So, because I was used to it, you know what I mean, mad to babies. And I'm not blaming my dear dad, and I'm not blaming how I love my beautiful dear little mama bear. So I've already said good morning. And I love my dear dad. It's just that we just do not gel together. We just do not get along. You know what I mean? We're all right for 5 minutes and then we'll disagree on things. You know what I mean? Martelish little babies. But that's the way life goes. But I'd never wish any harm on him. I've always said that, Martelish babies. And I hope he's all right. Because, I mean, he's nearly 80 now, Martelish little babies. So I hope he's all right. I mean, really, that's still young. I mean, really, we should all be living till we were about 150. There we are. You know what I mean? Martelish little babies. Anyway, it's amazing how one's like to cut one's life short, Martelish little babies. Anyway. So I never blame my dear dad. It's just, and that doesn't mean yes. It just means that when we were younger, it was very hard, and my dear mum and dad, bless, uh, well, they were going through a lot of problems. Do you understand what I mean, Martin? Little babies. So my dad was not only looking after us, and I'm not blaming my dear mum. I'm not. She just wasn't very well, bless her. But well, not just she wasn't very well, but the point is that so he was looking after me and my sister, so that we could be clothed and fed and everything, fed and watered. Do you know what I mean? And to make sure that there's food in the house, and do you understand what I mean? And bills are paid and everything. So he's a one-man band because you see, for the majority of our family on my dear dad's side was in Hull. So it's not like he had somebody where he could say, okay, like my beautiful, I love my beautiful nanny and granddad. So, that he could say, drop us off. Do you understand what I mean? And that he could get to work. So it was, there we are. It was very hard at times then, you know what I mean? But my dad's worked for decades, my delicious little babies. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, okay. But I never blame him. But when you look back, it is funny though. I suppose it's not funny at the time, if you're a mummy or daddy, it's not funny because, you know what I mean? Because you're saying, oh gosh, where's the next, if it's not food, it's flipping, where's the next flipping light bulb coming from? You know what I mean, man? It's just when I look back, and there was really hard times, you know what I mean? We really did have hard times, but when you look back as well, it was so much, there we are, more freer. We had that freedom. Well, what appeared to be freedom. Do you know what I mean, Mad Delicious Babies? And of course, when you're young, I had to grow up super duper quick. Mad Delicious Babies. Like I said, I cooked my first Sunday roast at 10 and a half. You know what I mean? And I was, as soon as my dad taught me to do ironing, that was it, because we never had a washing machine. So I'd get on my roller skates. I used to be able to do everything on my roller skates, you know what I mean? Mad Delicious Babies. And I'd have a great big bag, like a great big green, like army bag, you know what I mean? Mad Delicious Babies. And I'd go up to the coin up, you know what I mean? Okay? Going to the washing on my roller skates, up there. Going to the drying, come back, and then to the ironing. And that was like from the age of 11. There we are. Do you know what I mean? Mad Delicious Babies. Well, of course, for my daughters, they've never had to do that. Do you see what I mean? Okay. Um, and I suppose one of the reasons why I never did that, and neither did their dear dad, not in that way, not in that way, okay? We're the same. We're all right for 5 minutes. We probably see each other probably every flipping 5 year or something, you know what I mean? We're all right 5 minutes and then that's it. Goes up like a bottle of pop. We just do not get along at all. Okay, man, I seem to, you're probably thinking, she seems to be like this with me. No, it's not that. It's just that I lack patience. There we are. I really lack patience. Do you understand what I mean? And I just think, well, at the end of the day, life is, for us to get by as it is, you know what I mean? So I do not need, you know what I mean, to be getting into disagreements. I cannot be bothered with it. Do you understand what I mean? Mad delicious babies. And anyway, I never needed to stumble there. So yeah, but bless him. No, he's a marvellous dear dad to our dear two daughters. So I'll never ever take that away from any of them. Do you know what I mean? Mad delicious babies. Anyway, um, but yeah, but when you look back and and then I do all the ironing. And then my dad was. It was not long after that he was working, on the taxis. No. Before that, no. I'm telling fibs. Before that, because he had a buying and selling. He was doing buying and selling Mad Delicious Little Babies, right? And what he was doing was, there used to be a place. I don't know if it's still there actually, because of course I haven't got a car at the moment. Anyway, I don't need a car at the moment. That's all irrelevant. Okay, that's neither here nor there, right? I'm overrunning my tail. Old-fashioned Irish saying Mad Delicious Little Babies. There used to be a place called, and where was it? What middle way is it called now? I flipping forgot what middle way it's called now. Anyway, and it used to be called Bidland and Webb. That's what it used to be called, Mad Delicious Babies. And what it was an auction. It was an auction house, okay? So what my dad used to do is he used to pick up washing machines, fridge freezers, chest freezers, and all this and that. And sometimes he used to say, come on, Car, do you want to come along with me? I say, yeah, because I was really excited about it, you know what I mean? He says, come on. He said, you can make yourself useful. He says you can, be my helper, because he was very strong. There we are, you know what I mean? He's a very tall man, my dad. He's like 6'2.5", you know what I mean? And my beautiful little mama bear, bless her, she was 4'11". So I obviously got more. That's sad. We dear mama bears. Anyway, Martin, I always say good things come in small packages. Anyway, Martin, babies, let's get back to the matter in hand. So, and then I used to go to the auction house with him. So, and then it's, you basically, you take the stuff there and then you see what it sells for. Do you know what I mean? Martin, babies, okay? We had a couple of Duff washing machines and a couple of Duff fridges, but that doesn't matter because those are the days where you could dispose of them. Do you understand? We haven't got all of this silly business now, like since the old COVID. Down the road from where I lived, there's what's called a recycling place. Okay, Martelish babies, and prior to that time, Martelish babies, you could just queue up with your car. Okay. I think vans were different because you had to do, so I think it's always been that way. Okay, Martelish babies, but with your car, so whatever you've got, whether it be garden waste, whether it be things out your home that you no longer want, you just break it up and put it in the boot of your car. And, and away you go, mad little babies, hop, skip and a jump. It's only 5 minutes away in a car. Ever since the old pandemic, mad little babies, you have to book an appointment. Well, why do you have to book an appointment? Like, we're like 5 year on. So why does anybody have to book an appointment? Does this make any ding, ding, dong, dong common sense? Now then, something crossed my noddle, being one of the reasons, Martelish look babies. Like where, because there's plenty of ones filming in our old Brummyland in England, Martelish look babies, at the appalling state of some roads in Birmingham, Martelish look babies, and some public footpaths, sorry. I did need to stumble there. I've seen a video this morning, I haven't clicked on it, but I've seen enough as what I needed to see. Martelish look babies. Well, this could be, there we are, part of the problem as well, being one of the meanings, Martelish look babies, okay? And it came into my noddle because I thought, well, before you could just go and take everything, but now it's all appointments and maybe ones for some, there we are, just cannot be bothered with it. I just do not know, okay? Maybe they're just not happy with the service they're receiving or whatever it may be. Okay, Martelish babies, but we do not know. Without talking to the fly tippers, then we do not know, do we, Martelish babies? Of course, there are some videos, long time, where they caught fly tippers, one's sitting waiting. Do you know what I mean? To catch them. Do you know what I mean, Martelish babies, okay? Anyway, so we used to do that, yeah. And I remember, was it my dad's first car? It was an estate. I think it was it like a brownie colour? Anyway, and that doesn't mean no. And we're on this like hill, and my dad said, wait in the car a minute, car. He said, and I'll go knock on the door, to come and, to take, because he got a van after that, Martelish babies anyway. And he said, do not touch anything. Do not touch anything. Right? Okay? I said, I won't, Dad. I won't, Dad. I promise. Okay? Right? But because he was obviously sorting out what he was sorting out, and then to call me to come and help, well, I thought, you know what? I thought, let's see what the handbrake does. I started flipping rolling down the hill, man. I was like, Dad, do you know what I mean? And I thought, oh, do you know what I mean? So, and it was getting faster, So anyway, I can't remember where that was now. Anyway, it was quite away from where we lived. Anyway, anyway, I managed to put the flipping handbrake on. I thought, what do I do? Anyway, and thankfully I was all right. My flipping dad went, flipping. He was blazing at me. Do you know what I mean? He's so angry. He says, when I ask you to do something, Car, just do it. That's what he said to me. And I said, I know, but I was waiting for you. And, because I'm just a very impatient, do you know what I mean? Okay, mind you, I should not have touched the handbrake. Okay, Martin, oh, gosh, when I look back, I mean, my poor dad, really. I mean, he did have a bit of a game with me, you know what I mean? Because I never liked school. It's just a load of bullshit. I found it totally boring. I never got along with the teachers. There were only a couple of teachers I got along with. Uh, all the rest of them couldn't stand them. And to be honest with you, I just feel that I never liked rules. Do you understand what I mean, Mads? Babies, oh, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta get to bed at this time, you gotta do this. Do you know what I mean, Mads? Babies, and I just thought to myself, well, why? Well, why do you have to do this? Do you see what I mean, Mads? Babies, why? Yeah. Okay, Mads, babies. Another song I've been singing this morning, Mads, babies. You know what it is? I must have flipping ants in my pants to do, not in that way, Mads, babies. You know what I mean? Because I'm here, there, and everywhere anyway. The point is, Martin, so I was singing that song this morning. Put your head on my shoulder. Won't you kiss me once, baby? Oh, even though the weather is as sharp as what it is, there we are. We're still alive. I've got a roof over my head, me and my little babies. I've got heating. And that's what I wanted to say about the heating. You see, I like to have windows open, you know what I mean, to let air in, you know what I mean, Mads, little babies. So I've never been really one that keen on having heating like in the bedroom. I just get too hot, you know what I mean, Mads, little babies. But so what I've got on at the moment, sorry, rewind and start again. What I've got on at the moment, Mads, little babies, is just one gas ring, and that's plenty. You know what I mean? So that just keeps, you know what I mean, just keeps the chill off the room. You don't need to, and it's not for the fact I'm being tight. It's just that I go back decades ago to when I left home, you know what I mean? And there used to be many families, even when I was younger than that, where they used to put a gas on in the kitchen, because for a lot of families, the main place was the kitchen. That's you'd have table and chairs and you'd sit down. Do you know what I mean, Mads? There's always a kitchen. You know what I mean? Okay. Anyway, sorry, excuse me. So I rambled on enough for that. Okay, I just thought I'd mention it, but yeah, when I look back, there may have been harder times, but there were, I feel, a lot nicer times. You know what I mean? There we are. I mean, I'm feeling warm, but I go all cold here. It's my spirit. So let's go on to the first one, shall we? So we got trending on Iconic, so you can find it on our lovely davidike.com with our lovely dear David, lovely dear Gareth, lovely dear Jamie, lovely dear Richard, their lovely dear team. Now, the latest one this morning, Mads, little babies, this is talking about, and not in that way with anybody, okay? But I enjoy listening. Like I say, I mean, I do have all my favourites, Mads, little babies, and that's just the way I am, okay? I know that ones in life should say you should never have favourites, car, but no, I do. Okay, Mads, little babies, so that's that. Right, now then, yeah, talking about the budget to do the poxy flipping tax, yeah, taxing everybody to the flipping hill. Do you know what I mean? I just do not know when. I know that there's thousands who are awake to this, Mad Delicious Babies, but you've also got millions who very sadly are not. Okay, they just keep rolling along. You know what I mean? Mad Delicious Babies. Anyway, fast forward. So the budget, yeah, with that lying flipping bat, that flipping old flipping bag cow. You know what I mean? Lies for a damn hamster eat. You know what I mean? And not only that, what else was dear Jamie talking about, bless him? And I totally agreed. Anyway, but he was talking about many things on this video, but he also happened to mention, that Netanyahu, that piece of shat. What? For him to be pardoned. So anybody else, okay, mad delicious little babies, would have the book thrown at them. Oh, but not him. So what makes his shat stink better than others? There we are, simple things. I'm just asking a question, mad delicious little babies. You know what I mean? It just gets you really flipping damn vexed and mad. There we are. He really, really does, mad delicious little babies. You know what I mean? They do all these things now. He follows all the rules. Okay, does as he's told. Stand up, sit down, twirl around, put your hands on your head. You know, do the pat cake. You know what I mean? Mad delicious little babies. Okay, and so he gets away with flipping everything. Mad delicious babies. Just makes me damn sick. I just want to project in a bucket. Mad delicious little babies when I hear these kind of things, but. Yeah, well worth a listen. It's wonderful, trending on Iconic. What I tend to do, mad delicious little babies, because they're on a YouTube as well. So what I tend to do is put thank you, you know, whether it's dear Gareth, dear Jamie, or dear Richard. I always put thank you. And of course, our lovely David Icke, they're all so lovely, not in that way, not in that way. Our lovely David Icke, because he's back on YouTube as well. I always put that. But to listen to the rest of trending, I just click on where it says more, and then you look down, and then you'll see iconic.com. And if you click on that, you can listen to the full episode. Okay, mad delicious little babies. Anyway, so that's that. Well worth a listen. Just over 35-minute long. The other thing I wanted to say, mad delicious little babies, do you remember now the other day, for those of you so very kind enough, so thank you for any views, for any likes, and for the most occasional comments. Mad delicious little babies. Mind you, I did receive a really lovely comment. Was it a couple of days ago? Oh, that was a really pleasant comment. So, to who it was, thank you so very much. Bless you. Not in that way, you know. But that was really lovely. You know, so occasionally when I receive a really wonderful comment like that, I'm so very thankful and grateful, okay, because somebody's listening. There's always somebody seeing and hearing mad delicious babies. That's why my videos do not get out. Do you see what I mean, mad delicious babies? Not to worry, okay? Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Forrest Gump. What year was that, mad delicious babies? Now then, so, yeah, getting back to this. Oh, yeah, and that's a homeless dear man. Now, he was on, what's he called? Gloomy Space Sunday Space Traveller. Now, what I've been doing is, because I tend to monitor mad delicious babies, because I do it as a hobby. There we are, like I said, mad delicious babies. But I monitor everybody's numbers to see whether they're going up, whether they, you know, whether they're sticking at the same numbers, you know, like this, okay? And when I advertise that dear man, you know, joining the dots, not in that way. My heart went out to him, but I tell you what, he was banging good at how he put the video together. And I did notice in some of the comments at the beginning, mad delicious little babies, where ones were commenting to do with this, you know. I just feel you've got a, how can I explain it? The way he comes across to myself, okay? A very intelligent man, okay? But somewhere, bless his dear little soul, he's found himself in between in between a rock and a hard place. That's just an old-fashioned saying, mad delicious babies, figure of speech. So what I wanted, and what I still want, first of all, I wanted all of his numbers to go up. So as soon as I come across him, I advertised, okay, mad delicious babies. And what I wanted, it's like this will that you have in your noddle. Do you understand what I mean, okay? And I wanted his numbers to really shoot up. Now, what is the reason for this, mad delicious little babies? I was hoping that, number one, that if he can get to 10,000, I wanted him to get to, you know, to hit that 10,000. And when I say, yes, he's hit 10,000, you know, because I've been monitoring, you know what I mean, mad delicious little babies. And I was hoping that YouTube, that you could help him and help to promote him and everything, so that he can get a roof over his head, so that he can, you know, have a somewhere warm to live, and that he can have a shower and a bath, and, you know, and a hot drink, and, you know what I mean, and that he's got somewhere as well, and then he can still do his little videos, bless him. And then what I wanted, so if you could help out YouTube, that would be most helpful. I will say please and thank you here, because I am trying to help a homeless man at the moment. I wish I could help them all, but you know, that's very difficult. I'm focusing on one at the moment, not in that way, not in that way. Then the other thing I wanted was for somebody to spot him. Okay, Mads Lichtlich baby, somebody genuine with a good heart. Because the way he puts these videos, there we are together and everything, okay? I do not feel that you're looking or hearing a silly man. Okay, like I said, he needs that. In my view, he needs that. There we are, that opportunity. There we are. That's all I was asking for. That's all I wanted. And I still want that for him. I think he's up to about 10,000, 10.4 thousand Mads Lichtlich babies. Oh, bless. And I also hope that if one's out there, if they do have any spare ka-ching, pounds, shilling, pence, dollars and change, if maybe, there we are, they could push some his way. There we are, that's all I want, Mads Lichtlich babies. Do you understand what I mean, okay? Because he did a banging video. I mean, for myself, I mean, it's just disturbing to see the way it's gone, Mads Lichtlich babies in our Brummie Town Centre. Well, in Birmingham, what's been happening. It's just so sad. And when you look decades ago, we never used to have all of this Mads Lichtlich babies. So we all know the reason why, don't we? We all know the reason why. Why? Okay, Mads Lichtlich babies anyway. So I was really pleased about that. But I'm super duper pleased. Everybody else's, there we are, numbers are going up. You know what I mean? So it does pay, in my view, okay, to do this advertising that we are. Do you know what I mean, Mads Lichtlich babies? Because it helps so many. Now, there'll be some, the occasional one, who I do not advertise, but then I do other things in other ways. There we are. Do you know what I mean, Mads Lichtlich babies? I'm monitoring everything. Mads Lichtlich babies, believe me on that one. You know, the thing is, I said years ago, it was when I was doing the parcels, when I was delivering parcels, Mads Lichtlich babies, because I've been the jack of all trades. You know what I mean, Mads Lichtlich babies. Oh, I love that job, delivering parcels. I never got, it's only a figure of speech, Mads Lichtlich babies. I never got GBH of the year role, you know what I mean? I could just sort of be my own boss, do what I want, you know, sorry, never need to stumble there, do what I wanted to do, go and collect my parcels, you know, load up, and off I go. You know what I mean? Away we go, you know? And anyway, hop, skip, and a jump. And I remember saying to one of my dear customers on one of the roads, and I said, I think it was, I won't say the road. Anyway, Mads Lichtlich babies, anyway, let me get back to the matter in hand. And I remember saying, I says, you know what? I says, I should have been a private detective, you know. And my customer says, well, why? And I says, I don't know. I says, I just feel as though, you know what I mean? I would be very good at that. And I had the same feeling, there we are, years before, at least 2 decades, there we are, 2 decades before. I thought, you know what? I thought I'd make a really good, you know, private detective, I would. You know what I mean? Mads Lichtlich babies. I'm not one of these in a flipping rain mac and that, you know, binoculars. You know what I mean? Mads Lichtlich babies. I can be discreet. Okay, Mads Lichtlich babies anyway. Right, so let me get back to matter in hand anyway. So yeah, I reckon I would have been good at that as well, you know. But I wouldn't do anything like that, Mads Lichtlich babies, you know, after all the spying that has gone on to do with myself, Mads Lichtlich babies, and I wouldn't want to do it to anybody else. But of course, in order to get your little badge, you know, it all goes back to the CIA, doesn't it? Mads Lichtlich babies, yes, yes, I do know. I've known there we are a long time about this. Okay, Mads Lichtlich babies now then. So I have got the next one, and this on our lovely davidite.com. Okay, my delicious baby. And by the way, let everybody's numbers blow up, and let everybody, there we are, to my heart prosper. Okay, but we really need to get that dear homeless man. Okay, because I believe, there we are, he could do so much good. There we are. Okay, my delicious babies. He just needs, there we are, that opportunity. That's it. Okay, my delicious babies. That is that. Now then, this is on our lovely davidite.com, and I really strongly suggest Mads Lichtlich babies. I have sent this out in my dog and bone to who's in my dog and bone, okay? Just over 44 minutes. And this is our most powerful interview yet. Yes, and it's our dear Gareth Ark, and he's talking to Jesse Beltran. Bring the fire, Jesse Beltran. Yes, my delicious babies. This is extremely serious. Okay, my delicious babies. Now, I've been trying to follow as much as what I can follow. Okay, my delicious little babies, and I'm really, there we are, doing my best. Okay, but there is so much, there we are, going on at the moment, my delicious little babies. Okay, so what I'm trying my best not to do, okay, and I make a conscious effort each and every day, is not to get distracted by the other sharp that's going on. Okay, you have to look at the numbers, you have to look at the way that they're playing the game. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Oh, well, I'm not playing their game, so I'm sticking, there we are, to what I'm sticking to, because I've got to stick on this road. There we are. I must stick on this road. Okay, my delicious little babies, I must not come off the road. My wheels must not come off. Do you understand what I mean, my delicious little babies? There we are, because we need to continuously, there we are, get the word out so that more and more are fully aware, there we are, of what is truly going on. I know that thousands are not talking to those delicious little babies. I'm talking to our delicious little babies who are not aware of all of this. Okay, my delicious babies is most serious, extremely serious. And well, basically, you've got a switch. Now, when I was looking at BitChute these years back, which very sadly we cannot, very sadly flipping see in our old England mad babies, it's not Raver Hayes' fault who owns it. It's not his fault at all. Okay, he did the right thing that he felt was right for his business. You know what I mean? Okay, he's not going to, be held to ransom by our epoxy government, my delicious little babies, to censor everything, you know, instead of getting the truth out, okay? Because that was his huge worry, my delicious little babies, that the truth is being, pushed down, okay, my delicious babies. Well, so I was following a lot of this, and going back years ago now on BitChute, there was a lot of where ones where I advertised it all, my babies, over these years, where ones all of a sudden started spinning around, like saying like they were seeing something. Okay, my babies, very dangerous. So basically, for the ones, bless their beautiful dear little souls, apart from the effers who pushed all of this shat snake oil, my little babies. For everybody else, bless the beautiful dear little souls of mankind and our beautiful little babies who we call our sons and daughters. Sorry, excuse me. Well, the switch, if it was to be switched on, this could cause severe, at the worst point, there we are, destruction. Okay, my delicious little babies, this can be anything from, well, attacks and lots of terribly horrid things. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? But there's also the problem. Now, I've been following this for years, just joining the dots, to do with the fact that, so you've got one set of mankind who very sadly took an injection that they thought was for their good, which they were severely lied to, would never in a million years have consented to. Okay, well, not for the majority anyway, but you've always got some mothers do have them. You know what I mean? If some of this is a trial and a bit of ka-ching, then they'll take it. Okay? Well, we also seen very sadly where that went as well years back. My delicious little babies, okay? Well, then you've got the other side, the other set, who have not taken. But the problem is, and this was being talked about long time, years ago, back on BitChute, my delicious babies, and with our lovely dear David Ark and his lovely dear sons, Gareth, Jamie, and their dear friend Richard. This has all been discussed, and with other doctors in the world, like our dear Dr. Robert O. Young, who very sadly, I do believe, is still very sadly somewhere else at the moment. My delicious babies, who we must not forget it either. Rain fall Mitch either. For all of the help that they've been doing, my delicious babies, okay? But there are other doctors, okay, which have been talking about this, and it was all to do with shedding. Well, if anybody's been near anybody, could be anybody, my delicious babies, fact of the matter is that it can go off. Now, I remember when I was near to somebody. I'm going back a long time now. I think it must be, was it a couple of years ago? And, not in that way, not in that way, my delicious babies. But I found myself, who I'd been near, who'd had an injection, very sadly. Well, it's not an injection. It's nowhere near an injection, my delicious babies, okay? I was mopping my floor, and then I had a drop, and my nose started to bleed, my delicious little babies, okay? I never had it again. But I thought, well, I don't suffer with nosebleeds. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? I'm very blessed, actually. I do not suffer really with many things, although I have had a bit of a cough lately. But that's just, all that is really, you just get the mucus up and job done. Do you know what I mean? Just, just to remove it, it's just a clearing of the lungs, basically, okay? It's nothing to worry about, and just a little bit of sniffles. Well, as you can see, my delicious little babies, I'm rocking and rolling, I'm perfectly fine. You know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Anyway, I'm alive and kicking, that's the old-fashioned saying, my delicious little babies. Anyway, but this is extremely serious, my delicious little babies, okay? So if somebody has not been had anything, well, it's affecting them. Well, you see, I've said this, there we are, long time back. I said it on my videos years ago. There we are, I did. And I was talking also about if, say, out of a couple, if one has had the jibby jab, and the other part of the couple has not, well, you're transferring bodily fluids. I talked about this. I even, with my lovely dear friend, one of my lovely dear little beautiful friends, dear little Kaz, because my beautiful dear small circle of beautiful dear little friends are all beautiful. But she came on a video with myself. I remember doing it. We did a couple of videos on it. Well, of course, this all appears to be true. Do you see what I mean, Martish babies? But my other concern is as well, is to do with the water. Because what they're putting in the water, do you understand what I'm saying? So I've already talked, there we are, a long time about all of this. Just like when how many put, because not everybody puts used, tablets that they're no longer in use, sorry. Whether there could be depression tablets, whether there could be contraception tablets, okay? And for some, they'll put them down the toilet. Not everybody disposes them in a bin or takes them to the pharmacy, which is what pharmacies ask for. You know what I mean, Martish babies, okay? Well, where did it go from there? There we are. Martish babies, just a question. Anyway, so this was all my concern anyway. But of course, when we got it from the air, okay, which is dropping to the floor, which then is to do with our food. Anyway, it's all ding, ding, dong, dong, common sense in my view. It's like you just cannot escape it. I mentioned whatever o'clock ago to do the lettuce. Everybody said in my workplace decades ago, they said, whatever you do, just nothing with lettuce because it sends you to sleep. Well, why would lettuce send you to sleep? But when I was very little, we never had a problem with lettuce. Do you know what I mean, Marge? Just the babies, okay? So there's all these things, Marge, but please take a listen. I really, really beg you, the Lord of mercy. And there's another video I was listening to yesterday evening to do with dear Richard, dear Gareth and dear James, dear David, their friend. And he's talking to two other, men on the video. And Richard goes into things, you know what I mean, Martish babies, okay? So, it's really important, there we are, for ones who, I know that ones have busy lives. I know that they're just trying to put food on the table and pay the bills and keep warm and everything, but we've got to get real. There we are. We've got to get real of what's happening. And what was also talked about on here with dear Gareth and his guest Jesse, is the as soon as they start rolling out 6G, well, there's been a lot of problems to do with 5G. My delicious baby's case. Anyway, there's so much we could say. Anyway, but please go and take a listen, please. I beg you, the Lord of mercy. Have to be made aware, there we are, of what is going on for anybody who's not aware of it. Now, finally, This is called this uploader, and bless everybody, bless them all, really to my heart for doing this, because if it wasn't for all of our wonderful dear researchers and everything, dear uploaders, where would we be? You know, mankind probably would have been effed flipping years back. There we are, you know what I mean, Mads, little babies, okay? It's only for the fact that you're having to, try and catch up and, with everything what's going on. Anyway, Mads, little babies, so finally, this upload happens to have 154,000 subscribers, Mads, little babies, and right, there's two videos here on the same channel. The one video is at the top here, and then the video below it. Okay, Mads, little babies, and this uploader is called capital J Jordan space capital M Maxwell hyphen. I'm pretty sure it's hyphen. Capital T the space capital A authorized space capital A archive. Okay, Mads, little babies. So I'm just going to repeat that uploader again for you on YouTube, Mads, little babies. Jordan Maxwell hyphen the authorized archive. Okay, that's the uploader. And what you're looking for, Mads, little babies, it's not far to scroll. Okay, there's only 111 videos on there, Mads, little babies. The one you're looking for should be as follows: Jordan Maxwell, Manly, P.Hall, Is There a Guardian Angel, Part 1. Now, just below it, you've got, Jordan Maxwell, Manly P.Hall, Is There a Guardian Angel, Never Needed to Stumble There, Part 2. So there's two parts to it. The first video, both uploaded 1 year ago. The first one is 36 minutes just over, and the second one is just over 45 minutes. So they're not long at all, Mad little babies. Now then, that's all ticked off, and bless everybody. Thank you to everybody. You're all so wonderful and marvellous. Not in that way, but I have a high respect. And we must not forget, we'll go this way today. Must not forget talking space, capital T, talking space, capital W with space, capital M Mahoney. Okay, Martinish babies, he's got over 1,000 subscribers now. I think it could be 1.11 thousand subscribers, Martinish babies, because we're dealing at the moment in the world. This is more to do with the emotional side, Martinish babies, and David, there we are, he's doing his talks on this, bless him, not in that way, okay? He's doing his talks. So I very much value everybody's input with all of these videos, because if ones want to listen to David as well, my delicious little babies, they may get some comfort if they are going through a very difficult time, whether they are a man or a woman, because after all, we only have two, man and woman. Okay, my delicious little babies. And the final one to advertise is they're also dear David, and our dear Mag space capital M space capital B bitter space capital T truth capital L, I think capital N, never need to stumble, next space capital L level. Okay, so it should read Mag bitter truth next level. Okay, Martinish babies. Now what he does, and this is why I keep doing this, okay, Martinish babies, this is how I do it. Oh, there is one more I want to talk about, just very, very, very quickly, and then I'm going to be over and out. He calls, there we are, everything out, just like Fake Nukesville. Okay, Martinish babies, and his same. Okay, now Mag's not long been allowed back on YouTube as well, the same as David Mahoney. They're all so dear. Okay, Martinish babies, and of course it all happened around the time, the old pandemic. and very sadly what followed. You see what I mean? Malicious Babies. I'm super duper pleased that everybody is back on YouTube. However, uh, uh, what my thoughts are is, yeah, our lovely David Icke is correct. For how long? You know what I mean? Malicious Babies can. But of course, when they know that they were wrong in the first place, they should never have banged everybody off. But of course, we are talking about YouTube. And it wasn't only YouTube, it was Facebook. It was everywhere, Martin Little Babies. They were just banging everybody off. They were told to get rid of them. You see what I mean? Martin Little Babies, for misinformation. Okay, Martin Little Babies, which of course has now turned out to be, there we are, the damn truth, which everybody knew, we all knew. Do you know what I mean? Martin Little Babies, anyway. Very lastly, I was listening to this video last night. It's on YouTube, Martin Little Babies, in the old space bar, capital S, Sean, Shaun, space, capital A, Atwood, so it's Attwood. He has a, does Sean have, is it about 1.58 million or 1.61 million, something like that, Martin Little Baby subscribers. Anyway, fast forward. And it's a 2-hour video, and he was interviewing this man called Matthew. Okay, Martin Little Babies, and well, I'd really take a listen to that, Martin Little Babies. Now, I heard about this. Okay, I'm pretty sure. Where did I hear about it? Was it on the China show on YouTube? I heard something about this, but I'd never seen the video. That's what it was. I'd never seen the video, Martin Little Babies. I did yesterday evening. Let me tell you what happened to that poor man. He went to flipping hell and back. Martin Little Babies, mind you, some do not believe in hell, man. Anyway, that's a different topic, subject for a different day, Martin Little Babies. Anyway, figure of speech. Fact of the matter is, yeah, he really got put through the flipping ringer in a Chinese prison, Martin Little Babies, you know what I mean? You need to listen to the whole of it. I mean, this is just disgusting business, but he helped, so many in different nationalities, you know what I mean? Like Nigerian and that when he was in there and everything, you know what I mean? And it's just so sad. I mean, they are flipping wicked and putrid over there, Martin Babies, in the Chinese prisons. Let me tell you, mind you, this is not the first time we've heard, is it, over the years, Martin Babies? But for what he went in there for, there's just no need for it, Martin Babies, and it was all over. And I've heard a lot of stories about this to do with the old China. So I'm not talking about, the Chinese, having a pop at the Chinese. No, I'm not. But this is, there we are, big times, and I've seen it on, there we are, BitChute as well. So I know, there we are, that this is a damn truth, what he was saying. Okay, Martin Little Babies, and it's all to do with, going in to go and get his dog and burn, these smartphones, which really is nothing smart about it. Addictive, probably, but you know what I mean, because there's millions who have got them. But going in to go and get your screen repaired or something like this now then, and how the shopkeeper now then, there we are, skanked your man there. You know what I mean? Really did a flipping number on this poor man, Okay? And then you had the other Chinese, oh, robbery, he's a thief, he did no such thing. He just didn't want to sell his dog and bone. All he wanted was just get it repaired, simple thing. Get it repaired, go and pay the ka-ching and walk away with his dog and bone, but this was for days, you know what I mean? Okay? And then, of course, while he was behind bars, his flatmate took everything. I mean, he had a terrible time. I mean, they're not allowed to shower. They're not allowed to, if you ain't got no ka-ching, if you ain't got no money, well, you're in a very terrible way. I mean, they had to eat cabbage every day, and they'd boil it down and everything. And then you had so many who had to stay in a room, or all in one room. Do you know what I mean? You really need to listen to this video, Martin Babies. Now, like I said, I'd heard about it, and I'd heard about these scams, with in China, okay? I'd heard about this, but I'd heard it, there we are, on BitChute years ago, there we are. So this is nothing new there, but what I'm saying is, I'm pretty sure, and I'll repeat again, I'm pretty sure it was a China show that I'd heard it on where they mentioned something like this, or I don't know whether they were actually talking about this Matthew. I mean, it could have been, I don't know, Martish babies, but I just heard something passing, you know what I mean? Martish babies anyway. Well worth listening to that. So wherever you are in the world, that's it for today, Martish babies, Kai. Whoever gets to listen, bless you, gets to listen, but whoever does not, well, what can I do, Martish babies? You know what I mean? When it says public, it's clearly not, is it, Martish? Not to worry, not to worry. I'm not going to get myself upset about it, Martin Schlick babies. You know what I mean? There we are. As far as I'm concerned, I'm doing my job. There we are. I'm doing what I feel I'm doing as a hobby to do my best to get videos out. Okay, Martin Schlick babies. So that's where my job's done. Okay, Martin babies. So wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families all be fully protected. And how I love you also. So until the next video, Martin babies, I'm pretty sure that old estate from when I was young was a Ford. Anyway, Martin babies. So peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings and full protection to each and every one of you. Okay, please look after yourselves and please try to take care of others. How I love you also. Look after now. Oh, mind you, I've just got Nissan. I'd have a look at what's going on with Nissan. So much love. Take care. If it's morning, afternoon, or evening, have a beautiful time wherever you are. Love you. Bye bye.